Hi, Josh. Welcome. Can you remind me what school you were with?
Yeah, I'm Hagerstown Junior Senior High School.
I knew that.
Yep.
Thanks for being here today. We'll give people a few more minutes to sign on. Thank you all for signing in today. I'm excited to have you all here. We will give people a few more minutes to log on. I know Western Way was trying to figure out how they were going to get this done today. So we are recording. So if somebody needs this on your team, just let us know.
Morning, everyone.
All right, well, we will go ahead and get started. We will start with just quickly doing some introductions. I'm Roxy Deer. I'm the Director of Membership and Education, and I oversee the Business Education Committee, which means the upcoming Career Fair series is under my office, but Melissa is here as well. Melissa, do you want to introduce yourself?
Good morning. I'm Melissa Vance. I'm the Chamber President and CEO, and always happy to pop in on this meeting as I can and get a chance to chat with all of you. We appreciate what you do. So,
thank you. Melissa, we have some new people on our group today that may not be aware of how the Career Fair came to be. Do you want to chat about that quickly?
sure. So for those of you that aren't a regular part of our Business and Education Committee, this kind of came out of a brainstorming session. Rusty, correct me if I'm wrong. I think this is maybe year 5 of the Career Fair.
I would say absolutely. We started back in the Tiernan Center several years ago with Pat Heine and all that. So yeah, absolutely.
And really, this started with this breakdown of how are we getting businesses connected with students before they graduate and higher ed opportunities here locally. And then also, how are students being made aware of what career opportunities exist here in Wayne County so that when they graduate from high school, if they want to go straight into the workforce, they know what options are available. And if they want to pursue a higher ed certificate or degree program, when they complete that, they know what opportunities are here for them when it finishes. Our whole goal is making sure that students have their right skills to meet their long-term goals while filling our workforce and hopefully halting this population decline or even eventually growing it. So we started off with job fairs in Richmond High School and then one in the county schools where we've been rotating students through. And then this past year, a lot of conversation went into the need for this information to get to students at a younger age. And so the committee really decided as a whole early last year, late spring, early summer, to add juniors to the lineup. So for this year, we planned to do this career fair that's really more exploratory in nature in February, and then do the hiring fair, which was for only those students with the no post-graduation plan in April again, near the end of the school year.
Thank you, Melissa. So we do know that there has been a little bit of confusion on where this is going to be hosted. So I want to jump right into that. This will be held on February 17th at the Wayne County Fairgrounds. We are going to be utilizing both the Coleman Center and the Tom Raper Center for this event. So we'll be able to spread out. We'll be able to provide our employers a little bit more safety in the space between each booth. But I wanted to make sure that that date and location's on your calendar. I know we've had a few different locations throughout this process, but as we move forward, we will be at the Wayne County Fairgrounds. This is, like Melissa said, the career exploration fair. This is not the hiring fair. So that means all juniors and seniors are encouraged to attend this. And we are planning for all of your juniors and seniors unless you tell us otherwise. And we are expecting over 40 employers to be there. We're already seeing, and we haven't done much recruitment for our employers yet. That usually happens in the weeks starting probably tomorrow. But they're already starting to pour in, and we're seeing a lot of businesses that we've never seen before register for this event. So I wanted to take a quick second to look at the schedule so that you can see when we would like to have each school there and the timeline of how that will happen. So first, you can see we'll start the morning with Centerville High School and Seton, and they will start at 8:30 a.m. And they will be done by 10:30. They'll be able to leave by 10:30. We will split your students when they get there on between juniors and seniors, and they might be even split further down, like we might do last names of juniors or last names of seniors will go in certain corners. They will go through two 30-minute workshops, and then they will go over to the Tom Raper Center where they will have an hour on the job fair floor. The job fair floor will be split into two as well, so we can encourage more social distancing. So that's the job fair 1 and job fair 2. The only difference and the only change that you may notice is that if you fall during the lunch hours, like Trail and Hagerstown or Northeastern and Western Wayne, we do include time in there for lunch, which we will provide for you. So educators, as you look at this, and don't pay attention to these numbers, they're not in the right columns. I'm going to delete those. Don't pay attention to those numbers. We will be reaching out to confirm the number of students you have. Does this schedule look good for your building? Any concerns?
So they just need to be there ready to roll at 9:30 for us, Roxy, correct?
Yes, 9:30, and we will confirm with you the days before where to park your buses and what that looks like.
Okay. Looks great for me.
Tim, does this look good? I know that it's hard to be there that early in the morning, but you have one of the earliest starting times.
Yep, that'll work for us.
Thank you. Julie, does that work for your students?
Yes, you said with the lunch being in there, because obviously that is right during our lunch time. So that'll be fine. You're going to tell us where to pull up and all that good stuff. So
Absolutely.
yep, we should be fine.
Roxy, what was the date again?
February 17th.
Thank you.
Melissa, do you want to add anything to the schedule before we move on?
No, the only thing that I would say is that if the numbers are drastically different than what we have projected, this might adjust. But for now, we're hoping that this is what sticks. Obviously, we're trying to avoid having really large groups all together. So we're making sure we have enough people manning the True Colors stations, et cetera, to make sure that we have smaller groups that are manageable moving through these stations. But we also don't want incredibly small groups to where it's not meaningful time spent for the volunteers. So anyway, that would be the only adjustment that I can see, is if the numbers are drastically different, we might need to tweak them a little.
Listen, when do you guys need official numbers? Like, we've already started recruiting who's going. I've got 124 signed up presently, but we've only been at it about a day and a half. Does that mean if we only come with that many, you might move someone in with us, so we won't need a whole slot by ourselves? But how soon, I know yesterday's probably the answer, but how soon before you put something in stone, can we get you something?
Roxy, I'm gonna leave that to you.
Yeah, so we will order lunches probably on the 7th would be my guess. I would like to have numbers as far as planning and volunteer wise, at least a ballpark number. Yesterday, like you said, we know that that's not possible, but if you're like Rusty, your number went from 700 down to 150. So we just need to make sure that we have a little bit, like that would have been something we would need to know that.
Right now, we have about 125. Obviously, we're not during the lunch hour, so that helps you. But if you wanted to add somebody smaller to us, that could probably happen as well. So
Okay.
we can talk later about that, not take up everybody's time, but.
And I'll just make sure to clarify, only a couple of the groups, the ones that are overlapping with lunch times, are going to actually get lunch. I know in the past we have like tried to do box lunches for everybody and coordinate that. We just have way too many people with adding the juniors in to make that feasible. So only the green and the yellow sections get lunch. If you're in the blue or red, you're not going to be there during lunchtime. So we'll have you move out prior to that.
All right.
And it says lunch depart on the Hagerstown section at 12:30. So that means we're going to get a lunch and leave, or is there a place for us to sit down and eat before we board a bus?
Let me do some more digging into available
Okay.
space and I will let you
Okay,
know.
sure. Thank you.
I do want to go over the workshops and what will happen at each workshop, since we do have so many new faces on the call today. You saw a workshop called True Colors. This is a skills assessment. We have done this for, I think, 3 years. I'm getting a thumbs up from Rusty. It's a really simple skills test that just says, hey, you work really well when you are working in this type of environment, and look out for people like this with this skill assessment, because you may not always get along. And what we found is that it's really easy for employers to understand this, and it's really easy for students. And so employers and students are able to connect based on the color that the student turns out to be in their assessment. So that's the first one. The second one I'm really excited about. This is a self-branding, and this will be taught by Ashley Stump from Ball State University. She's a communications professor, and she is actually recognized across the country for working with high school students in branding your online footprint and how to make a good first impression. So these students will get a quick and easy lesson, and then they'll head right to the job fair floor where they will put those lessons right into action. A few things about the career fair floor. We will have a passport for students this year and giveaways for students who are actively participating on the floor. And we will have that connection to the True Colors assessment as well. One thing I do want to point out, we've asked our employers to make their tables as interactive as possible, but we did give them the heads up that maybe giving students footballs or rubber balls would be a horrible idea to give. We've had that problem in the past because we know they take them back to the school and they become problems the rest of the day. So we've asked employers to not do that this year.
Roxy, do they have a lot of giveaways? I know a couple of years ago, we gave away a ton of stuff. Do you foresee that this year? Because I've started to share a little bit of that, and I thought I'd better talk to you first.
I haven't talked to many employers about what they will have at their table, but my guess is there will probably be a lot of giveaways. We may be working with a partner to make sure everybody has a bag.
I was thinking we did prizes one year at the end if you had your passport filled out and all that.
Yeah, that'll be that will happen again this year. Yeah.
So that will happen for each group then as they go through.
Yep.
Okay.
So we do ask a little bit from you. Besides getting the students there that day, we ask that you provide the student transportation and prepare students for the day. We know that the students who show up not in their pajamas, but are dressed nicer, have a better experience, and the employers are more likely to engage with them. Masks will be required at this, as they are in all of your buildings. So that shouldn't be tough for the students, but we do want you to remind them that masks are required that day and that they are representing themselves and their schools. So you will be responsible for any behavior issues that happen that day, and your staff, our volunteers and the chamber staff will not be any behavior specialists that day. We do need a more detailed head count. If you haven't submitted that to me yet, Thursday would be the best day, the day to give me that rough estimate. And then we can adjust as we go through the next couple of weeks. And then I also need to know how many school staff you'll be sending. We're just keeping an eye on the numbers in the building at all times, just for a COVID precaution. What questions do you have for me, for your other teachers and educators in the room? What can we do to make this process easier for you?
So Roxy, when they show up, you're just splitting them up, juniors and seniors, and first 30 go here, the next 30 go there. Nothing. We're not doing name tags, anything like that.
No.
Okay.
Any other questions? I do want to put a few other dates on your calendar while I have you all here. The hiring fair is still planning to happen in person on April 21st, and that will be at Earlham College. And like Melissa said earlier, that is for any senior with no post-graduation plan. That's when we do the multiple interviews in one day. And so make sure that you have that date on your calendars for your students. And you may even want to prepare those students to start thinking about what careers they would want to interview with, or employers they would like to see as they head into the job fair. That would be great. And then I also want to put on your calendar that May 5th is senior celebration for those schools that participate in the School is Cool program. This is the perfect attendance for all of your seniors. We will let you know a location and time as we get closer to that event.
Roxy, are we using last year's requirements? Or are we going back to what we used to do before that, or we made a decision?
There were, I can't remember off the top of my head, it's 98%, I believe. I sent it out at the beginning of the school year, but I can
Okay.
resend it out to everyone.
Roxy, you said that was May 5th for the senior celebration.
Yes.
Is that again still at Wetzel right now?
Let me do some digging and planning. We'll let you know.
We're also trying to decide if that is an in-person event or not. Last year we had so many students that qualified because of the modified criteria. And if you can give us an update on where you stand right now, that would sure be helpful for us in that planning process. And then we can decide if we need to do this virtually again, or if we plan it in person and where that would be.
I will send out the updated requirements to all of you for that event, and then you can send back your numbers. All right, well, I know this meeting wasn't a full hour, but I wanted to make sure you all were on the same page. As I said earlier, this event will be taking place February 17th at the Wayne County Fairgrounds. That's the big thing. We want to make sure that you know where it's at, and that you are able to get us that head count as soon as possible so we can prepare for your students. As always, if you have any questions or if something comes up that you would like to chat with, please give us a call at the office. We're always here to support you.
Thanks, Roxy. Thanks, Melissa.
Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you.